Hello, everyone. I'm back. Had to do a little resetting, but we got everything going now. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you in a bit. Go ahead and watch this stuff, and I already watched it, and I'll talk to you in a bit.
This is not a drill. Dan Scavino is B2 bomber posting on social media, and you know what happens next. If you don't know Dan Scavino, you should. He's a man who's been by President Trump's side for nearly 40 years, probably the single most trusted advisor to the president, the voice of Donald Trump when it comes to digital media, and a man who runs all presidential personnel. And so he's a man who knows what's about to happen. And when Dan Scavino starts posting videos like this, it means it's about to pop off. He did this before we black bagged Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela. He did this before the Iran war popped off. And everybody has the spider sense that something's about to happen. And something strange is happening right now. President Trump has canceled all plans this weekend, told top administration, military, and intel officials to cancel all of their Memorial Day plans. And Donald Trump is back at the White House and hasn't been seen. All reporters were sent out of the White House, ladies and gentlemen, late last night. Something's about to happen. This is one sign. This is another sign. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dan Scavino posting at 1 a.m. in the morning a video of him and President Trump walking into the White House, but it is the music that everybody is queuing in on. The Nessun Dorma, the sum of all fears. Scavino dropping hints tonight what's about to happen. My guess is they're going after the uranium. Here's the video. You can see President Trump here walking into the White House. You see sort of his silhouette. A sign that everyone in the White House has been working overtime and that, well, it's about to go down. Dan Scavino has been posting nonstop about the B-2 bombers. This one just a 2-second video of a B-2 bomber. I guess we'll see. Of course, Queen and Pavarotti. Look at this. It's about to pop off, man. Is it going to pop off because of the threat against Ivanka Trump, the president's daughter? We just learned this a couple hours ago. This story broke, a world news exclusive, the number one story on earth, that Ivanka Trump was targeted for assassination by Iranian terrorists in twisted revenge plot. The dude's a legit terrorist. He had plans for her home, plans to kidnap President Trump's grandchildren, go after his beloved firstborn daughter. I'm not sure, but all the pieces are starting to come together. And President Trump has done something very strange. Donald Trump has canceled all of his plans. Donald Trump does not normally do this. President Trump often, virtually every weekend, golfs on the weekend, gets his business done at one of his golf courses. Donald Trump canceled a planned trip and all of his Memorial Day plans as well. He was going to go to Bedminster, New Jersey, in order to golf, but instead, Donald Trump stepped off Marine One right back to Washington, D.C. This was not part of the plan, which is causing a ton of speculation. And you can see here Donald Trump marching into the White House and the doors shut quickly behind him. Donald Trump canceled all plans and is now back in D.C. CBS is reporting intel officials have also canceled all of their Memorial Day plans and are on standby. Something seems imminent. Here's President Trump arriving back in a rainy Washington, D.C. this weekend. U.S. military intelligence officials canceling all of their Memorial Day plans. We'll see. There's great speculation as to whether this could mean it's going down in Iran, Cuba, or both. My sources tell me that Pakistan's Field Marshal Asim Munir is on his way to Iran to deliver a final ultimatum from President Trump. Give up your enriched uranium immediately, or you will be turned into a glass factory. Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump is convening his senior security team meeting this morning, talking about the Iran war situation. He's seriously considering launching new strikes against Iran, barring a last minute breakthrough in negotiations. Trump is considering launching new strikes in Iran. Trump's messaging all week has been hitting as well. Trump is telegraphing that he's about to strike, which is normally not his MO. Misdirection may be afoot. We'll see. Is there misdirection happening right now? Could it be that they're focusing on Iran when it's really Cuba is their aim? I believe the liberation of the most wonderful people of Cuba from the clutches of communism is close at hand. Cuba Libre, says Lindsey Graham yesterday evening. Well, if anybody would know, it'd of course be warmonger and neocon Lindsey Graham. Cuba might be in American territory by Tuesday. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Is Donald Trump going to pop off knowing that it is a federal holiday on Monday? Iran has shut down their airspace. Trump's canceled all plans and is back at the White House, and they just uncovered a plot to kill his daughter. They effed around TikTok. See here, the Iranian airspace has been totally cleared, except for one flight from Pakistan. One flight from Pakistan went in with the Pakistani negotiation team. So hopefully a good sign there. Obviously, I want peace in the region. Heavy interference, red zones, massive GPS jamming detection across Iran, Iraq, Kuwait. So you can see the GPS jamming happening right here. Well, glad I stocked up on popcorn. Action coming soon. I fear that Trump is skipping his son's birthday to spend the weekend in D.C., something he normally isn't keen to do. His son's birthday. Okay, yeah. I mean, maybe he's also skipping Don Jr.'s wedding as well. A sign we should brace for something crazy this weekend. Even libs are able to see it happening. Cuba, 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 Cuba. It's all popping off. I guess we'll see. Pakistan Air Force jet departs Karachi, reportedly heading for Iran. So maybe they'll get the peace deal done, and maybe we'll take over Cuba. A long weekend. Everybody zooming in on this Dan Scavino clip. None shall sleep. He shares a clip with the Nessun Dorma. The song plays at the end of Sum of All Fears when Jack Ryan allies assassinate a global conspirator. Sum of All Fears is mentioned in multiple Q drops on Iran. I just heard something crazy is happening inside the White House. They have no idea what's coming. Iran war this weekend, 100%. People are saying Tulsi Gabbard resigning yesterday is a signal and a sign. Iran rejects deal to hand over highly enriched uranium. Trump rushes back to D.C., canceling plans in New Jersey. Last time Dan shared this video was an hour before Epic Fury. Tonight is the FAFO time. As we've shown you. There it is. I mean, the entire administration is really plainly telegraphing that they're about to strike. This is not, if it's not misdirection, then Trump clearly wants everybody to tune in to what happens next. Yeah, that's the sense that we get as well. The only reason I would ever skip my kid's wedding, Don Jr. is getting married this weekend in the Bahamas, is if something absolutely massive was about to go down. So massive that missing a wedding would seem small by comparison. Are we going to war? It's President Trump saying,
So we got breaking news. There's like 20 to 30 shots fired outside the White House. We're going there right now.
Code red, code red.
Well, I'm
This is
sorry.
not a
Give
drill.
this
Dan
video closer
Scavino
so I don't
is
go back to
beat.
it. But now it's on. It's on right after this in 2 minutes.
U.S. Southern Command is prepared to begin offensive operations against Cuba and the godless communist regime. Raul Castro might be captured this weekend. Make Cuba great again. And of course, the Domino's pizza tracker is experiencing 227% spike right next to the Pentagon. Always a beacon and a signal, a blaring signal that something is about to pop off militarily. Pretty sure when you try and assassinate the president's daughter, all negotiations are probably off. War is coming. See. We'll see. Trump doesn't go to his son's wedding. He goes to the White House instead of a normal trip to New Jersey. Tulsi Gabbard steps down, China trip over. Reports Trump is considering bombing again, and Massey loses. All signs point to an imminent attack. We'll see. Middle East tensions appear to be escalating again. Iranian airspace restricted. Iran's military posture has reportedly moved to maximum alert. Fighter activity has been observed across the region. GPS disruption is happening now. I don't know, man. Iran airspace shut down. War is imminent. All right. And one plane has flown over Iran. And we'll see. One plane from Pakistan. The final message, the final warning, I don't know. But I have a sinking suspicion, and we've been right on these things because we pay very close attention, that we are either going to take over.
There's this person. I'm not sure who this guy is. Oh, he's a reporter. Let me see. Julio Rosas. I don't know. He says DC law enforcement confirm or tells me Secret Service shot 2 men outside of the White House at 17th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue. One unconscious / not breathing. The other one conscious and breathing. Said he's working to confirm it. Fox said, though, one gunman dead and a bystander. Wait, I'm gonna have to confirm that. So just grain of salt. Over here. She got off. Okay. Get us another feed.
Okay, so you heard it right there. The Secret Service shot some people right here. Two, and one's dead, and one's supposedly conscious and breathing, but take it with a grain of salt.
Okay, here's a short Fox report. They're saying, yeah, they took down shooter.
I'm told that a gunman came up near the White House on the west side, what is described to me as Gate 17. This is kind of near 14th Street on the west side of the White House, and came up and brandished some sort of a pistol. We don't know what type of pistol it was, but he then fired toward the White House 3 times. And the United States Secret Service, they returned fire. We don't know how many shots that they got off, and they apparently took the gunman down. I'm told that a gunman came up near the White House on the west side, what is described to me as Gate 17. This is kind of near 14th Street on the west side of the White House, and came up and brandished some sort of a pistol. We don't know what type of pistol it was, but he then fired toward the White House 3 times. And the United States Secret Service, they returned fire. We don't know how many shots that they got off, and they apparently took the gunman down. I'm told that a gunman came up near the White House on the west side, what is described to me as Gate 17. This is kind of near 14th Street on the west side of the White House, and came up and brandished some sort of a pistol. We don't know what type of pistol it was, but he then fired toward the White House 3 times. And the United States Secret Service, they returned fire. We don't know how many shots that they got off, and they apparently took the gunman down.
Limited information at this time, and this is really as far as we can go. They've sort of set up a perimeter line here. We're also seeing other members of the media here, but really here on Pennsylvania Avenue, as well as just between 17th, 18th, and 16th Street, those areas are blocked off with a very large law enforcement presence as they continue to investigate this. This obviously comes just weeks after the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where there was another incident just outside the Hilton Hotel, where a gunman also tried to get as close into the dinner and shoot towards allegedly the president. And so right now, obviously, now we're getting these reports of gunshots outside the White House. A lot of people around here walking around trying to also understand what happened, get more information. And believe me, we are on the same page as many of you, still trying to confirm exactly what happened. But I just want to reiterate, so we're here on Pennsylvania Avenue and 18th Street. The streets here are blocked off. Secret Service is trying to detour traffic into other directions, trying to let people know that this area is blocked off. We're seeing an immense presence of law enforcement, not only from D.C. police, but also Secret Service. We're also noticing FBI is coordinating with MPT, Secret Service. But as we know, just from a little bit, this all started around 6 p.m. Gunshots were reported near the White House today. Journalists were part of the press pool at the White House. They have reported that they've been put on lockdown. There were people who were getting ready to go live on their shows when they started to hear multiple gunshots. So definitely just a really concerning and a scary feeling, not only for the people, tourists who also walk around here close to the perimeter, outside perimeter of the White House. Again, from what we know, just from what Fox News has reported, an individual fired gunshots at least 3 times outside the White House. The person never got inside the perimeter. We also know that that person was shot by Secret Service. Fox News also reporting a civilian was hit by gunfire. And again, we are still trying to check on social media to see any updates from the FBI, who is obviously helping in this case to investigate what happened. But just again, this is Memorial Day weekend. Many people are out and about. Even with the rain, they're trying to explore D.C. This is an area where we see a lot of tourists, so we really don't know the amount of people who were near where those gunshots were fired, but we do know that there were multiple gunshots fired just outside of the White House. As soon as we get more information, if we're able to talk to any law enforcement, any official out here, we'll be sure to share with you the latest information. But as of right now, this is really what the scene looks like on Pennsylvania Avenue. Sydney, I'm going to send it back to you.
Suspect shot and a bystander shot too, supposedly. Maybe that's where they're getting people reporting like a second person.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that. I think when we got here, it was mainly towards the aftermath once from what we've been, just talking about. It seems like law enforcement have been intervening just with any public here who might be concerned of what's happening. But there is no sense of, of alarm, I guess you could say, or just this sense of, there's obviously a sense of concern of what's happening, but definitely just a lot of questions of what is going on. When you see this amount of law enforcement, that's what you're sort of getting, right? Questions of what happened. Is the situation under control? And I can tell you just from law enforcement being here, this is a good sign that we have Secret Service here on standby. We have D.C. police as well and FBI. So that I can tell you, although we're getting very limited information of what exactly unfolded as far as those gunshots and that shooter who fired multiple gunshots, but just getting really reaction from people in this area. It's more of what happened, what's going on. Just to get you just a little bit more on what we're seeing out here. Again, law enforcement in this area, Pennsylvania Avenue, as well as 18th Street and 17th Street, they seem to be blocked off. That's probably going to be the case for the next couple of hours. But as an area where people walk through a lot, no matter what the weather looks like, you're always going to see people who want to pass by the White House, tourists, especially on this, busy weekend. This is a holiday weekend, Memorial Day weekend. So I don't know. We still don't know.
Thank you, Art.
Who
Appreciate
were
that.
the people there at that time when gunshots were heard in the area, but I can tell you if there were people nearby, there was definitely a concern and an alarm and just a scary scene, and just to hear that for anybody, it is very scary. So we still have no indication yet of who was there other than from what Fox News has reported. And if you're just tuning in, this is Pennsylvania Avenue and 18th Street. This is what it looks like with law enforcement. We have Secret Service, DC Police. We also know that Fox News reporting an individual fired shots at least 3 times outside the White House. We know that the president was inside, and we also know that that person was then shot by Secret Service, but still trying to get more details on this case. Sydney?
That's crazy. So, yeah, it's being reported one shooter, one person, suspect shot, and then there was supposedly, I think they're saying some type of bystander. What I'm hearing was
some
shot.
sort of a pistol. What we have here, around 6 o'clock Eastern time, there was, you could hear people who were on the ground there. I wasn't there, but there was a report of gunfire near the White House. And I jumped in here because sometimes, when there's a threat at the White House or the executive branch, maybe there's something going on at the Capitol. So I started to dial in with sources there. We're told that this was on the west side of the White House grounds. Again, you have the White House, and you also have the outer perimeter there, Gate 17, it was described to me, near the Eisenhower Executive Office building. Somebody came up and brandished some sort of a pistol. I'm told that it was a pistol, in fact, not a long gun or a rifle or anything like that. And the alleged gunman got off at least 3 shots, and the United States Secret Service, who obviously prowl that area, some things might not be obvious to people walking by, but certainly to the people, guarding the perimeter. They responded to this. They're trained to respond to that gunfire. And I'm told, and this was the quote that was given to me, that they took the suspect down. Quote, they took him down. So this is a male suspect. I'm also told that somewhere in this process that a civilian was struck. We don't know how many shots that the Secret Service or other law enforcement might have gotten off. Again, they'll have to go through the ballistics evidence of this, and we don't know the condition of the gunman or the suspect. But the important thing here is that the President of the United States is safe and that the alleged gunman never got inside the White House.
That's crazy, man. And when you think about it like this, what was the last one? The White House correspondent dinner? The guy that just ran in there like a nut job, didn't really have any kind of special planning. I mean, he had a little bit of prep. He walked it. Well, he critiqued the Secret Service too. He was like, damn, this hotel, that's it? Like, it's that easy to get in here? You would have thought they'd be everywhere. He critiqued the Secret Service. He walks right up. The last dude, the dog is pinging on him. The dog is, hey, something's wrong. Something's wrong. He walks into the side room. The Secret Service guy just, I don't know, for some reason lets him go. And then he just runs past the detectors, and somehow they took him down. And now this person, just firing shots, just hoping to hit something, I guess, not well planned or coordinated, not a mastermind. I don't know if it's desperation, mental health.
We have you by phone. Can you break this down for us?
Well, Tommy, this is what always happens when we have something like this. I always start to check in on the security situation at the White House, but this is what happened around 6 o'clock this evening. I'm told that a gunman came up near the White House on the west side, what is described to me as Gate 17. This is kind of near 14th Street on the west side of the White House, and came up and brandished some sort of a pistol. We don't know what type of pistol it was, but he then fired toward the White House 3 times. And the United States Secret Service, they returned fire. We don't know how many shots that they got off. And they apparently took the gunman down. Now, sometime in this gunfire exchange, a civilian on the street was struck by this gunfire, and we do not know the condition of that person right now. But the important thing to know is that the gunman who came up with the pistol and was taken down by the Secret Service, and we don't know his condition right now, but he never got inside the perimeter of the White House. And this is according to a senior administration official with direct knowledge of what went down at the White House this afternoon. This was right around 6 o'clock Eastern time.
have silence and we can